Welcome to Live at Icon Towers. Good to have you on the show tonight. This evening, I wanted to talk about racism because it is something that is major, current, and we need to talk about it. But I would not talk too much about it until towards the end of the program because I think my blood is still boiling, and it's better that we calm down a bit. So I've been watching the videos, and I will not start talking about that. I will fight the temptation. How are you doing? Good to see you. Please let me know if we're sounding loud and clear. Don't forget, we always like to start the show by inviting friends and loved ones. We're going to be featuring Evans Ogboyi. We're going to flash back to a show 20 years ago that featured about 16 to 20 years ago. There'll be a lot of flashback today. I'll show you some. Even take you far back as 25 years. So sit back, enjoy the show. Please, those of you who have already hooked on, let me know if you're sounding loud and clear. And let's go on this journey together. One of the things we're going to be doing today is worship. We will worship. So enjoy this.
I'm here to worship Him, the one who gave His life for me, a precious sacrifice, not ever known. I'm here to worship Him, the Lamb of God, the righteous one, salvation story by the Father told. And He's seated on the throne. I will worship Him alone, for He's coming back again, forevermore to reign, Jesus the King. I live to worship Him, the one who gave His life for me, a precious sacrifice, not ever known, not ever known. I live to worship Him. He is the Lamb of God, the righteous one, salvation story by the Father told.
Welcome back to Live at Icon Towers, and that was Grace doing a fantastic song as we came together in the studio to worship. One of the things we love to do in Icon Towers is to just make videos, make music videos, do live events, capture, and we've been doing it for many years. I'm going to take you back in a moment, not immediately, but in a moment, and give you a flashback about 16 years ago when I was doing this tour called the Stop Project. And there was this young man that has so much vibe, so much energy, and I was able to capture with a team of videographers his performance. The whole place was packed. I think there must have been close to 1,500 or more people in the venue. You know, been doing shows like that, covering live events for many years. And we do small events like the one you just saw as people worship in the studio. We do music videos. In fact, one of my favorite artists and music minister is Evans Ogboyi. Some years back, we did this video called Bigger. And before we play the video, I just wanted to encourage people out there. It's quite upsetting when you see what is happening, the racism, the madness. But you know, God is still on the throne. And that's why we started with that song. He's seated on the throne. The next song I'd like to play is Bigger. God is bigger, honestly, than what people say. He's bigger than what we think. Our God, in the midst of this madness, in the midst of the injustice, the ungodly, crazy, I said I am not going to talk much about it. Honestly, I doubt it if I'll be able to present this show properly, because when I think about some of the racism, when I look back at people I know, when I look at my own experience or my experiences, oh, there's a lot I can say about racism, even in this country. And I'll talk about it a bit, but let's start from a positive and on a positive note. God is bigger. Watch this.
Ooh. on me. Thank you, Jesus. You never give up on me, Jehovah. No. Ooh. You were so faithful. You were so merciful, yeah. You were so loving and kind. Lord, I just came to say, I just came to say, I praise your name. No one like you. I just came to say, no. Good, no one like you. I just came to say, I just came to say, hallelujah, hallelujah. Oh, I just came to say, no. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Hey, heaven and earth adore you. Angels bow before you. What a mighty God you are. Beautiful beyond description. So marvelous for words. I love you. I praise you. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. I adore you, magnify you, I praise you. There is none like you in heaven and the earth. Only you, Jesus. Only you, Jesus. Oh, na da 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 da. No, no, na 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 na, na da da da.
Wow, what a powerful piece of artistry. There is no one like you, Lord. Honestly, it's such a powerful, powerful song. It's still one of my favorites, actually. The composition, the lyrics, the video. I just love the fact that we can capture songs with different textures and express them. You don't have to be only reggae or classical or jazz. Everything can be expressed, and that's part of what we try to focus on Icon Towers, creating these different expressions of creativity. So you want to shoot a music video? Hey, give us a buzz. Like I said, I was going to flash back. I really, really, really am resisting the temptation to talk about racism, but I cannot help it. So what we'll do is maybe next week we'll dedicate the whole program talking about racism. But let me share an experience I had with you, just to give you an idea how upsetting it can be. I just finished playing football with a friend of mine, and every time I drop him at home after football, we sit in the car and we talk. So this evening around 9 o'clock or thereabouts, we sat in the car, we were talking, and the police just swapped on us. And we're in an area where I don't even know how to describe, but this is outside his house, and the police just came and they were like surrounding us and lights were blaring and, okay, Fred, calm down. And I'm thinking, what's wrong with these guys? So they because I was on the steering, both doors were open, and they were like, so one guy stood at the back, the other one came round, and they were like, what do you think you're doing? And I looked at them, I said, what does it look like I'm doing? The guy asked me again, what are you doing? I said, I'm sitting in a car talking with my friend. What does it look like we are doing? It's obvious. Or is there something wrong with sitting in my car? Then I think it was a decent car, so maybe they were not expecting to see two black guys. I don't know what the issue was, but so I was so upset. I'm like, what's wrong with you guys? I'm sat with my friend. We just finished football, and you guys are behaving as if we're breaking the law. For what? So he was like, identify yourself. So I showed my business card, I showed my license, and I said, I'm so and so. And then I added, I'm Reverend so and so. And then his attitude changed a bit. I said, now, can you explain to me why you are questioning us? He didn't know what to say. So he said, somebody reported that a car of this description was broken into, exactly matching this, he could not describe it properly. So he said similar to, so I was like, oh, so you see two black guys in a car and you think they're stealing the car. I helped him. I was like, what's your problem? He said, where do you work? As at that time, I worked with Christian Legal Center. So I said, yeah, I work with the Christian Legal Center as a film producer, and this will make a very good story. I was so upset. And I can give examples after examples. You are playing a football match, for example, and I remember playing in this area where there was just myself and this same friend. We're the only black guys there. The ref would blow against us all the time. The opponents would treat us funny. Even our teammates treated us bad. Out of maybe about, in that whole club, maybe there were about 200 people that would come and play. Things have changed a bit now, but then there were very few black people. So we were like a tourist attraction. And I remember one occasion where the opponents would just kick and misbehave. Now, I play a very robust football style. I'm quite physical, And so here is this guy walking up to me and just kicks me and then swears at me and says funny things. I walk up to the referee and I say, ref, did you see that, ref? And the ref goes, what are you talking about? And he looks at me with an expression as if I didn't really have. When it happened again, I walked up to the ref and I said, ref, did you see what that guy did to me? And the ref said, no, I didn't see anything. I think it happened about 3 or 4 times during the game. And as the game was going on, I walked up to the ref. I said, if that thing happens again, ref, you will see what I will do. Now, I did not have the ball on me. This guy kicked me, literally. He didn't even hide it and swore at me. And I was like, ref? Ref said, what are you talking about? Okay. By then, I have to confess, I forgot I was a Christian. At that time, I was just a footballer. And for those of you who play football with me, you know how I play my football. So I walked up to the ref. I said, ref, don't worry. You will see when I do what I'm going to do. While the game was going on, I smashed into that guy, as in literally smashed him so hard that the game ended. He was out and cold with all of my strength. Then I walked up to the ref. Did you see that? So he gave me a red card. And I was like, well, if you're going to give me a red card, you have to give him a red card too. He said, well, that was da-da-da-da. I said, okay, you know what? I will calm down. As I was walking off the field, this ref, of course, he was white. The ref now looked at me. He now said, get off the field. When you start behaving like a human being, we will let you back into the game. I was already walking out, so I stopped. I said, huh? Say that again. He said, when you start behaving like a human being. I said, good. Game over. I picked up the ball and the rest is history. I ended the game that night, literally. I said, you called me a monkey? You called me a monkey? He said, no, I didn't call you a monkey. I said, what do you mean when you say behave? My teammates who had been keeping quiet before now began to say, no, he didn't say that. To cut the long story short, I ended the game. I stopped the whole game. I said, tonight, game over. Call the police. Do anything you want to do today. You guys will know that you have met a madman. What did you say in your life? If you ever speak to me like that, this whole place, I will shut it down. Do you know where I'm from? Of course, the game ended. Everybody went home. The next day or the next week, I made a formal report and I complained. The ref was like, you're a very good defender, but you're grumpy. I said, well, I'll not tolerate racism or any kind of abuse from any of you. So let's be clear on that. So I could give examples. Maybe we should have my daughter coming when, because she shared an experience how in her class. Anyway, maybe we'll talk about that next week. But I could give examples. Maybe what you want to do is share your own example about racism, you know, because I've had people say stuff to me. I remember doing this documentary, and this person sent a message and said, "You're a monkey, go back to the boat," sent emojis of bananas, and sent all sorts. And I was like, this guy, and he said, "If I find you, I will stab you. You monkeys, go back to Africa, blah, blah, blah." So I kept those posts. Maybe I'll share them next week, for making a video that interviewed different people telling their stories. It's crazy how people just think they can use the color of your skin and treat you bad, you know. Honestly, for me, so when I saw what happened in America, my blood was boiling. I refused to talk. This is the most I've talked about it. I honestly did not want to talk about it because I was like, Lord, this is wrong. But like we said earlier on, God is still on the throne. And this evening, we're going to be closing the show, asking the question, not just talking about America, but also talking about what is happening in the UK. Is Britain racist? Is there any racism going on? Maybe I should open the line right now and ask people, give people an opportunity to express themselves, you know. Maybe people might actually want to share their thoughts. I will see if I can do that as we go on with the show. Is Britain racist? There is a filmmaker that has done a documentary, and we're going to be having him join us next Thursday as we're going to be talking about racism. But let me just introduce at least the topic, and feel free to share your comments. I did not want to talk about racism today. Honestly, I remember clearly somebody said game over. Another person said, pastor. I'm telling you, I did not know. It happened. I'm telling you, I uprooted the guy literally, as in the game ended. You know, I'm not very proud of it on one end, but on another end, I believe that we should actually kick against racism. I think, and let me quickly say something. Another thing that really annoyed me was those that were looting and stealing, especially those people who were stealing, looting, burning down. The criminals, they are thieves, they are criminals, they are arsonists. You are as bad as the policeman himself. That's just the truth. You know, I've been in situations where I see people some of the properties that they were burning belong to black people who are honest people who are working. So what's the difference between the person? You're a criminal as well. Then I saw this horrible video of how a policeman was run down with a car, and something inside of me was like, this is as bad or even worse. It's crazy. There's no excuse for that. So it's not just on one side. We, the black people themselves, we need to speak to ourselves. This is unacceptable. You know, anyway, we'll talk about it. It's not our main topic, so I'm just going to leave it at that. Maybe I should try to cool down. Let me cool down. You know, let me cool down. And I think we should take a commercial break. Phew. Welcome back to Live at Icon Towers. Thank you so much for all your comments. Thank you for engaging. You know, somebody said, let me see if I can scroll and read some of the comments. Somebody said, game over. Wow. Another person saying, Evans is asking, said, Pastor, what would Jesus do? I'm telling you, Jesus would not have flattened that guy. You know, someone just corrected me, say, I actually did not knock the guy cold. No, I did not. All I did was I just leveled him, you know. You know, there's a way with football. It's called a sliding tackle. You know how you take a tree down? You just, it's just that I did that with a bit of vaboom and a bit of emphasis that it sent a clear message, you know. But to be honest, as much as I want to talk about injustice, there's something more powerful than fighting for justice. And that's actually the love of God. That even in the midst of all of this racism and hatred, the Lord still calls us to walk in love. So I will be sounding like a hypocrite that, are you confused here? No, I'm not. The truth is, as much as I want to say that God hates injustice, and he does, sometimes he would even allow us rise up above the injustice and walk in love while not rejoicing in iniquity. So I feel we should actually fight injustice, but we are not permitted to hate. And that means we should get into the legal framework and begin to change the policies and fight the injustice in a legal manner. The good thing is when I was playing football, I was able to use the football to like send the message across. I didn't just walk up to the guy and clear him. No, I waited for him to have the ball. And I just cleared the ball, but I cleared more of him. And trust me, that never happened again. It sent a clear message to everyone. Anyway, I know that sounds like a very contradictory message, but that's what happened, you know. And what I like to do generally is I make sure I am not breaking the law. But when I see racism, I do not tolerate it. I just don't have a belly for it. I said I was going to flash back. So let me try to take us down memory lane. I said I was going to open the line. Somebody's laughing and he's saying, Pastor. Pastor is human too now, you know. And I'm still on my journey walking with Christ, you know. I will pray for the person afterwards. So I said I was going to take us down memory lane. Let's go on. Let me do some flashbacks. Here is this image here, or some of these images. I don't know if you guys can see that, but about 20 years ago, let me take us down back 20 years. We did this project called The Journey Begins. Some of you probably don't even know what a cassette is, you know. The Journey Begins 20 years ago. 20 years. The Journey Begins. That's amazing. And we had very interesting songs. Great visuals. I've always been into bikes. And songs like, let me see if I can bring up some of those songs. Amazing Grace, Anointed Believer, Lord, I Need You, Do You Want to Dance, Misconception of Love, Hosanna. I mean, and I remember we did a tour and we traveled across several states in Nigeria. It was so much fun and very challenging too. And that was how many people actually began to encounter Christ in a deep way, as we had to pray and we had to like do some serious warfare even in the midst of the production. And very interesting, also worked on a project called the Stop Project. Oh, let me see if I can bring that image up. Yeah, the Stop Project. And this we did not just in Nigeria, but also in the UK. Now, during the Stop Project, something very interesting happened. We had a concert where we had a full house. And let me see, I've been looking forward to, let me see if I can bring you this video by Romeo. Let's see if I can dig that one up. Bear with me 1 second. Where is it now? Bear with me 1 second. I got carried away with talking about there you go. Yep. It's been many years. This video has disappeared. No, I'm going to find it. It has to come up one way or another. Let's see if I can bring it up. Just a moment. Bear with me 1 second. This is about 16 years ago at a place called Juice and Grillade. Okay, you know what? If I can't get it there, I'm going to dig it up elsewhere. I have it somewhere here. Very precious memories. There you go. Where is Romeo? I hope Romeo is watching. Mr. Romeo, your video has disappeared. Yeah, there you go. You guys check this out, man. This is 16 years ago.
It's a new day, a new say, coming in a new way, a new voice, a new play I bring to y'all today. A new song comes to stay. This won't lead you astray. A new life, a new style, breaking works of delay. A new sound, new spirit. Downloading through my lyrics in a minute, gonna split your limit, boy. Limit. Breaking out of religion, breaking limitation. Releasing those imprisoned by denomination. My declaration got the power to bring salvation. I'm tired of the hypocrisy. I bring a new philosophy. Yes, the policy must recognize the prophecy. Yes, democracy must come to accuracy. A new identity will bring a new reality. Let aside the fantasy and stand for all humanity. Rise up, hold up, a new vision. Rise up, stand for a new horizon. Speak up, go forth and shine in new dawn. Conquer, possess, and shine in new dawn. It's a day of reformation, a day of reconstruction. Breaking barriers, moving up to new frontiers. Track 2. It's a new day. Coming up, new say. Yeah, new spirit. Coming through a new generation. You feeling it, right? Yeah. I want y'all to open up your ears and listen up. It's a new day, new say, coming in a new way, a new voice, a new play. I'm praising y'all today. A new song comes to say, this will get you a sway. A new life, a new style, breaking works of delay. A new sound, new spirit, that hovering through my lyrics in a minute. Gonna flip to limit, boy, believe it out. Breaking out of religion, breaking limitation. Releasing those in prison by denomination. My declaration has the power to bring salvation. I'm tired of hypocrisy, I bring a new philosophy. Yes, the policy must recognize the prophecy. Yes, democracy must come to accuracy. A new identity will bring a new reality. Look aside the fantasy and stand for all humanity. Rise up, hold up, a new vision. Rise up, stand for a new horizon. Speak up, go forth and shine in new dawn. Conquer, possess and shine in new dawn. It's a day of reformation, a day of reconstruction, breaking barriers. Put out the new frontier. This is the new frontier. We're breaking the barrier. No retreat, no surrender. Doing God's again every time we must surrender. So we can move in there into perfection and completion. The body was like, oh, you're gonna have a heart attack. You need to be more attentive. God proceed if you're gonna be you think static and monotonous. The church and nation has been monotonous. You've been stale, male. You say it's dangerous to step into a new dimension. You put a bus and curious, and delirious. Not here to force. I'm here to break the curse that's been placed to toss you into the course. I will change the soul and keep the rock restored so you can stand for us, expand and make the buzz. I'm here to break the laws of law. I only force. I'm here to push and force of course. Make the walls of flow. The law will be worse at the end. I'm here to defend. This ain't time to play. I'm here to break the train. And I make the land listen to me, friend. This will make you understand. I don't need to play. All you need is understand. This is a new frontier. We're breaking. Come on, come on. Put your hands together. Put your hands together. Come on. Come on. Come on. The body must lie. Oh, you're gonna have a heart attack. You need to be more. The bottom line is on, come on, ain't time to yawn. Breaking up the dawn, come on, sound the alarm. Not a time for fun, be strong like Boston sun. Time to move on, not time to see and moan. Enlarge your mind, broaden your scope. Expand your thoughts, renew your hope. Be careful, your life is on the slope. I'm here to give you power to cope. I'm not a bishop, the king, or a pope. But my rhyme got the scope to get you off your smoke. Take notes. It's all about being creative, aggressive, being innovative, being progressive, adjacent, forward-looking, and being inventive. We need this kind of spirit and bring this H to an end. We need a new star to bring this H to an end. We must embrace, move up, we can see it. Come on, come on. Do it, come on, come on. Come on, come on. If you feel this, come on, put your hands together. You need to be more authentic. Say what? Say what? One more time, sing it. This is a new one to you. We're breaking the barrier. We're doing God's agenda. It's time for us to win. We can move it in a true perfection and completion. Come on. You're gonna have a good time. Say what? You need to be more authentic. This is the new frontier, and also the last frontier. We are the generation, the end of the ages has come upon. Yeah! Everybody put your hands together, up above your head. Put your hands together, up above your head. Come on, come on, come on, come on. If you believe in what I'm saying, come on. Let me hear you say, yeah! I can feel you. If you're a young person in this place, come on, rock to your feet and say, yeah! To the glory of God.
Mr. Romeo. Wow, I remember that night vividly and clearly. We had a packed house. We had a few artists from Abuja. You know, it was really good, and that was when we launched the Stop project. You know, and the Stop tour. You know, which we took to several countries. At least Stop tour we did. I was able to visit with this tour and this project. Touched several countries, America. I remember somewhere, was it in Maryland? I think it's somewhere in Maryland when I had my Stop t-shirt on and I had this huge bag and it was filled with CDs. Some of the artwork you're seeing there, you know, and it was filled with CDs and tapes. And then they stopped me, and you know, the moment in the States they see you with bags and they were like, "What are you doing with these bags?" I said, "I'm here to cause a revolution." So they put me aside. I'm always looking for trouble. They said, "What do you mean?" I said, "I'm here to cause a revolution of sexual purity." So I removed my jacket on my t-shirt. Behind my t-shirt was written, "The Stop Project, a revolution of sexual purity." And the guys looked at me. They opened my bag and they saw CDs and they looked at me as if I was crazy. I said, "Do you want one?" And they said, "Sir, you can go. Just go. Just go." You know? Well, let me take you back memory lane a bit more. You know? Let's see how far back I can take you. Let me take you back 25 years. This month of June will be 25 years since my wife and I got married. And that's something some people will not have seen. That was on our wedding day 25 years ago. Look at my wife. She looks like a baby, literally. That was my best man. I wish he could come and share his testimony with us one of these days. You know, and right there is my pastor, my late pastor, you know, Clement Enegwe. I'm taking us down memory lane. That was Solidarity Hall 25 years ago. We literally got married in an open court. You know, very interesting setup. I'm getting a lot of likes, and let me know your thoughts, guys. Let me know your thoughts. Share your thoughts with me. Good to see you, Dabs. You know, one of the songs we did in the Rhythm and Joy album was with an artist, was written by an artist called Dabs, and he's joined us here. Keyaro Wazebaka. I can't speak Hausa, so let me not destroy the song. I can only manage a few words. Anyway, so far, maybe on and off, I'll be doing this. I'll bring us precious memories, take us back memory lane, and let's thank God for the beauty of life that God has given us. You're welcome to Live at Icon Towers. A dear friend of mine, Pastor Moses is his name, and he was 50 this past week, and I would just like to celebrate the gift of God on that man's life. He's been a major blessing to this generation. So this is for you, Pastor Mo. We celebrate God's grace upon your life. There was something myself and Pastor Mo worked on a while back, and I'd like to bring it to us right now. The pursuit of happiness. Before I do that though, I want to announce that before this show is over, I will show us a bit of a documentary called The Windrush Scandal. And we're going to have the maker of that film join us today. Join us next week. Sorry, I'm a bit distracted. Join us next week. But before we watch a bit of that, I think it would be great to show you something that myself and Pastor Mo put together. Bear me, I've had to change my system, so I've kind of rejigged how I present my videos. Just give me a second, I'll get this running. So I hope you guys are enjoying the show. I cannot find that, so I'm going to switch again and see if I can bring. Okay, let's try this. So this is to Pastor Moses Ida. Fantastic gift to the body.
Cities in all the world. Many cities in the world fall into this category. This category is New York, Paris, Dubai, Lagos, Mexico, Stockholm. Many cities around the world fall into this place like aspirational capitals in the world where people can push into fulfill your dreams. Here is as if the city has this character that if you can connect to what the city is about, you can actually be part of that success story of the city. And because these cities are big and humongous and massive with hundreds of people going around, they appear as if they are the place to go to fulfill your dreams. But is it true that cities make you happy? Is it true that living in the aspirational capital of the world will guarantee happiness for you? This is the pursuit of happiness.
Happy 50th birthday, Pastor Moses. You've been a major inspiration to many of us, and I just love the simplicity with which you do things. And we just wanted to celebrate you. Every member of Icon Towers and the creative team behind everything that you see, my wife and I, and the family just wish you a happy 50th birthday. Also from every member of Spirit Life, we just wanted to say a happy birthday to you, Pastor Moses, and our warmest regards to your beautiful wife and family. Okay, saints, I think before I start drawing this show to an end, I would like to bring you the highlights of what we're going to be discussing next week. And the question is going to be this: is Britain racist? Is Britain racist? That's the question. And this is a film by Jean-Marc. He's a filmmaker. We've done some stuff together in time past. And sometimes it's good to like highlight stuff that people don't want to bring up. We're going to be talking a bit about the Windrush. It's going to be in the studio with us. And we talk about the Windrush scandal. We also talk about some of the current things happening in the States. How do we respond? Is Britain racist? And what are the practical ways we can respond to this issue of racism? So I'd say watch this.
I went to report and I just see this officer came out and call my name and take me around to a room, say, yeah, they're gonna interview me. And they asked me for my passport details. I tell them that they got it. I haven't seen my passport from 2003. So they said, how long you are here? I said, from 2001. So he says to me, you are here to be detained. And I said, what for? What have I done? He said, you are to be detained to go on the plane on the next day, Friday.
When I did come back into England, I got stopped. And they said to me that we're not going to let you back into the country.
Windrush! 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 Windrush!
Windrush generation, meaning people who came from across the Commonwealth pre-73, which, you know, includes people from Jamaica, Windrush, but also all the rest of the Caribbean, Africa, Asia, and so on.
About 2010, we already started to notice it very early on, around 2011, with deportations starting to increase and charter planes being ordered.
This was happening to people here and there, you know, individuals, but there's a huge stigma attached to it. So people didn't necessarily come forward. Some people would have been deported and didn't go public on it because of that stigma and shame and, you know, trauma and just like confusion over what's actually happening, something that could happen quite fast.
We have a situation where people who came pre-73 often divided at the time their family across borders because they couldn't afford to bring everyone at once. They've answered a call, which is a call to rebuild Britain. They've been invited, encouraged, recruited to come to rebuild the wealth of Britain.
If in 2003 I put my application in and then 2008 my passport would be expired, why you keep my passport until it expired and then you said I am illegal and I am an illegal immigrant?
So that's it, folks. It's going to be a serious but interesting time. If we have enough time, we are actually going to hit the streets and do some interviews and ask the simple question, is Britain racist? Is Britain racist? Maybe some of us are overreacting. And how do we respond to racism? It's a key issue that is being discussed right now, you know, and it would be good to like be part of that conversation. Let me know what you think. Should I open the lines? Should we talk about racism now? Our time is far gone. I'm wondering, should I open the line or should we do all of that next week? I think we'll do all of that next week. We have loads of videos. I only played just maybe 3 of the videos I plan to play today. I had prepared loads of videos, but I feel that it's very, very important that we talk about racism properly and not just get emotional about it. Is Britain racist? And we'll talk a bit about the Windrush scandal and this documentary that actually captures the stories of these people. My parents happen to be part of the Windrush people too, you know, and my mom applied. She asked and they turned her down. They've worked, they've served, you know, to be honest, I don't know why, but that's the interesting thing, you know. But let me not speak for the filmmaker. We'll interview some of the people and we'll bring some of those interviews to you. It's been a fantastic show today. Our time has run out. I am thinking if we could just pull the show to an end right now, because if we open the line and we start, we might not leave this place. So what I'll do is I have about 3 or 4 minutes. I'll run a video, you know, and then I will check my Facebook and see if you guys want to speak with me. I'll open the lines. If not, we'll close it down.
Jesus, bright and morning star, fairer than the sons of men. Grace is poured upon your lips. How glorious is your name. Lord, I love to love you. I love to be like you are. In your presence I am free. Lord, I love to love you. I love to be right where you are. Lord, I love to love you. I love to be where you are. In your presence I am